the accounts payable process to work smoothly, we need to ensure our master data is set up properly. Let's create a supplier in SAP. In S/4HANA, SAP consolidated all business partners under the transaction BP. I'll enter transaction code BP and press Enter. I'll click the Locator On/Off button because the locator is used to search, and we want to create a new supplier instead. Next, I click Organization because the supplier we're creating is an organization. The system gives us a message in the status bar to choose the business partner role, and this is extremely important as this selection determines what information of our supplier we can edit. I'll click the drop-down in the Create in BP Role field and select Supplier Financial Accounting. We're prompted with a warning that says, do you want to create business partner in BP role Supplier Financial Accounting, or do you want to save it first in BP role Business Partner Gen and then change it? Data already entered is not saved during creation. We have not entered any data, so I'll just click Create. By default, there are only 5 fields that are required fields and have the red asterisk that we need to fill before we can create the supplier. We'll fill them in now. First is name. I'll enter West Penn Hardware. Next, when we scroll down, is postal code. I'll enter postal code 15203 and city for Pittsburgh. Next, the country is US. And finally, for communication language, I choose English. Of course, you can fill in any of the additional fields that may be helpful. Now you'll notice we have 10 tabs going across the screen, each with fields that may or may not be important for an organization. Because we are in the Supplier Financial Accounting role, we have vendor general data, vendor tax data, and vendor text fields. The vendor general data allows us to add more information that is specific to this supplier. The vendor tax data tab allows us to add tax information, and the vendor texts fields is where we could make specific notes about this supplier. We won't change any of these fields right now, but we will go ahead and save the supplier by clicking Save in the bottom right of the screen. We have an information message at the bottom showing us that this supplier has been created and has been assigned a number. Fantastic. But we're not done. To be able to use the supplier in the accounts payable process, we have to extend our supplier to a company code. After we saved, the company code button on the header bar became active. I click it, and we're brought to the display organization for our newly created business partner screen. The system has put us into display mode, meaning we can't edit any of the fields on this screen. I'm going to press the switch between display and change button, and that's going to put us back into change mode. The title of this screen now shows us that we are in change mode and can edit the fields. I want to extend the supplier to company code 1000, so I type that in the company code field and press Enter. Now, I can also update the reconciliation account field below that has become active. I'll click the Match Code button in the reconciliation account field. And because this is a supplier, and the way this company code is configured, my only option is accounts payable. I double-click that, and I click Save. The system notifies me that the changes have been saved, and from an accounts payable perspective, the supplier is set up. But there is another business partner role that needs to be set up so we can actually make a purchase from this supplier. We'll click the drop-down in the Change in BP role and choose Supplier. Next, we'll click the Purchasing button in the top of the screen. We have to assign this supplier to a purchasing organization. We want to extend the supplier to Purchasing Organization 1000, so I'll enter 1000 and press Save. We can see that the change in BP role changed from supplier to supplier with defined in parentheses, as this business partner role has now been defined and is ready to use.